whole thing with the condenser is it's been 2 months since we've been using it. So, I mean, we have just really started experimenting with it.
Yeah, that's right. It's been quite a number of months since we've done a program, right?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. So during that time you were using the condenser. Okay, and here comes another example of a voice pretty far into the noise, right?
Yes, it's low.
Okay. You think it's a child?
No, this is the one that I was going to tell you about. You're going to hear Brendan say, "How old are you?"
Uh-huh.
And it sounds like a man, and he says, well, Brendan hears, "I'm about 3." When I listen to it, I hear, "I'm above 6."
Really? That's not even close. Right, let's see what we hear.
How old are you?
I can't make either one out. Let me try again. I couldn't get either one, really.
How old are you?
I could hear perhaps "I be about 3.
That's what Brendan hears.
I be about 3. Well, Brendan heard "I'm about 3.
Uh-huh.
I heard "I be about 3.
I be about 3.
Let me see how my suggestion works for the audience. All right, everybody, listen for "I be about 3.
How old are you?
So I wonder if my suggestion to the audience resonated. I wonder if they heard "I be about 3. I wonder how strong the power of suggestion is in this whole process. I suspect with these marginal ones that we're hearing, pretty strong.
Oh, yes. Definitely. It's as I mentioned before, I mean, EVP is very subjective. Up until you get these, Class A recordings, they're just so, I mean, everybody hears them and goes, well, that's exactly what's being said.
Yeah.
I actually think this next one is about that way. It's very strong, and in my mind, there's no question what it's saying.
Okay, but we'll get to that in a second. Is there any question in your mind about the power it takes to get these voices to be recorded? In other words, from the other side, are there some that obviously have more ability, more power, more of whatever it takes to get the voice through?
Oh, yeah, I definitely think so. I think that it takes quite a bit of power for them to even manifest, the slightest voice. And if you listen to these, some of them almost sound like, if you've ever heard somebody that's hearing impaired try to speak,
yes,
that's how it sounds. And it's almost like either they can't hear themselves as they're talking or, using noise in the atmosphere to create a voice, or it just takes so much power they can't do it. They can't do it and make it sound like, we do.
This is me struggling to understand the nature of the other side and how it's being done. Oh, well, okay, number 6. Let's move on.
All right. Now, we're actually somewhere else for the rest of these recordings. These are all done at the Exchange building. And a couple shows ago, we did a show pretty much with nothing but voices from this building.
You call it the Exchange building. What is that?
It was the stock exchange building.
Originally, yeah, in the 20s, it was a stock exchange building, and then
for cattle and sheep, and
then it switched over. It was offices, it was a bank, and then it turned into a health and human services building, so a mental health facility.
No kidding.
I don't know if you recall, a couple shows ago we played a clip of what sounds like a child in water.
Yes, I recall very clearly.
This is the building. And we were really excited to go back with this condenser mic and see if we could pick anything else up.
See what you could do. Okay, number 6.
All right. In this clip, you're going to hear me say, mainly what I'm doing here with the photographs now is just photographs to document the way the place looks. And then the owner of the building says, yeah, and then you hear what sounds like a kid say, push it with that one.
All right, here we go.
See, mainly what I'm doing with the photographs now is just photographs to document the way the place looks.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, that was clearly a child's voice. That was quite clear. And it did sound like it was saying, push it with that one. Again, a child's voice. Now, hey, there were no children present?
Absolutely not.
No.
We never allow anyone under the age of 18 with us. If we're investigating a house that has children, before we come to the location, we'll actually ask the parents to have the kids stay with the grandparents or somewhere else.
All right, that in mind, here it is again.
See, mainly what I'm doing with the photographs now is just photographs to document the way the place looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite clear. Definitely quite clear. I can tell you this. You're going to have a lot of luck if you take some good software and a computer and you filter out what is now become the ambient amplifier noise of the condenser mic. If you filter that out, it's going to get scary clear.
And that almost worries me in a way. I mean, as you've noticed listening to these, all EVP seems to have this general sound. A lot of them seem to be devoid of consonants, and I just, that was the whole reason for starting this condenser mic, is just to hear how clear we could possibly get these.
Sure.
And I'm really hoping that, they get clearer over time.
No, I think you've made the right move with the condenser mic. You've proven something, number one. Number two, they will be much more audible. But number three, believe me, when you start messing around with eliminating the frequencies that are not contained in the voice, it's really going to get clear. So that's a path to follow, Brendan.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Number 7.
All right. Still in the Exchange building. You're going to hear Brendan say, yeah, you're right. That is a pretty big difference. And then this voice comes in, and it sounds like it says, they might learn something.
They might learn something. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, you're right. That is a pretty big difference.
I'm not sure what I'm hearing at the end. They might, I clearly hear. I don't know that I'm hearing learn something. Let's see.
Yeah, you're right. That is a pretty big difference.
All right, I'm not sure of the end of that.
I'm not either.
It's clearly saying something, and it almost seems like it's contemporary. If it is, they might learn something. That would make it sort of contemporary. How many times have the two of you had a direct, immediate, obviously connected response to something you've said?
Oh, I would say 40% of the time. It seems to be related to either something we've said or something that we're doing at the time. Not even something we're audibly saying, but, just looking for equipment or something.
Yeah. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I'm not sure whether I want to believe it's contemporary or whether I'd be happier not believing that. But I guess I would like to see you or somebody else continue the work, the Meeks work. I mean, after all, Meeks had an ongoing, contemporary, full exchange conversation going with somebody on the other side.
Right. And we have been, ever since we actually posted all those recordings on the website, we have been contacted by numerous people who are trying to build or rebuild the machine now. And they've promised as soon as they do and start trying to make contact, they'll send us the recordings. So I'm really looking forward to hearing that.
How would you feel if you were able to actually get into a real-time, responsive, long-term conversation with somebody on the other side? How would you feel about that?
I would probably be ecstatic.
I can't even imagine what you'd do.
Really?
It'd be a dream come true.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What questions would you ask if you were able to?
I would ask, why are they still here? One of the things I'd want to know.
Or how about where are you? Where are you?
That's that. I mean, I'd also like to know, are they even aware? I mean, are they aware that they've passed on, that they're not physically here anymore?
That's an awfully good question. And is there much to suggest in all of your EVPs that these people are aware they're dead? I mean, I remember a couple of EVPs where they actually said, "I'm dead," or something like that.
Yeah, there was a lady that said, "I'm completely dead."
Dead, that's right. I remember that. But other than that, there haven't been very many.
Not many EVPs, but there are a lot of cases of hauntings where, they see an apparition walk through a wall or just walk through a room, and then they go, look at the plans of the building and realize, well, there was a doorway where that wall was, 60 years ago. And it's almost like the entity is seeing what it was like when they were alive and not the way the location looks now.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
I've also heard that reported with a dance floor at a hotel in, I think it was in Hollywood, where they redid the floor and it was up a couple of inches higher than what the original floor was, and the ghost of a man has been repeatedly witnessed, and after the floor was done, they can't see his feet. It's just from the ankle up.
So they could be, whether you want to say in another universe, another timeline, another reality.
Yeah.
A completely different reality than we're in.
Of course, everyone has their own reality.
Yeah, I guess it's somewhat subjective, but then that doesn't jive very well with contemporary responses to you all. In other words, if they're in another dimension, another reality, how are they coming up with responses to you?
And the thing is, they may be two completely different things. What we look, when we get these contemporary voices, that may be ghosts. And the other thing, as Barbara mentioned, the man dancing on the floor not being able to see his feet,
right?
That may be some other dimension. I mean, that may have nothing to do with people that have passed on.
All right, once again, Barbara Macbeth and Brendan Cook. Welcome back, you two.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you guys think that you'll continue doing this for the on into time, for the rest of your life? Or will you come to a conclusion and stop doing it and just say, we've done enough? I mean, have you talked about that?
I don't see any reason I'm ever going to stop.
Brendan and Jenny both said they'd be pushing me and Roger around in our wheelchairs when it comes to that point. So.
Really? Do you think that at any point, I mean, do you have hopes that you will discover some new aspect of this? Yes, you're getting voices. Some are contemporary. Some are perhaps, what was left behind, it seems like. But are we going to learn anything about where these people are, about where they go, about the nature of the other side? Or is it going to take another Meeks-type experiment to get that far?
It may. Ultimately, that would be great to, learn more about it. But I have already accomplished what I planned on when I started this, and that was to prove it to myself. And anything on top of that is just kind of icing on the cake. Well, it's great. But
yeah, well, that's kind of what I was saying, that you sound almost as though you might be at the point where I feel like I've learned as much as I can learn. And, it's icing on the cake, but we might not get any more doing what we're doing now.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I will continue doing this as long as I'm able to. I mean, it's something I enjoy.
Good for you. I'm all a fan of doing what you enjoy. Number 8.
All right. Now, this gives you a comparison. This was actually recorded with a digital recorder, not the condenser mic.
Right.
And you'll hear the complete difference. You're going to hear me say, "That's a nasty little bump right there." And then a child, it sounds like he says, "Come walk with me."
Okay, let's see.
Come here when you can. Show something freaky.
No. Again, the operator here is in the wrong place. Let's try it again.
Yeah, you're right. That is a pretty big difference.
All right, here are my observations. Number 1, I cannot also conclude it says, "Come walk with me." However, I have another conclusion, and it's that I might prefer this mode. Let's listen again.
Yeah, you're right. That is a pretty big difference.
All right, now, so here it is. I couldn't understand that very well, whatever it was. It might have said, "Come walk with me." I don't know. But whatever it was clear of other background noise.
That was actually track 7 that you just played.
That was track 7, right. They might learn something. Not "Come walk with me," that's next. But anyway, my comments stand. I couldn't quite understand what was said there, but it did sound a little clearer to me.
Right.
There was very little background noise to go with it, right?
That's correct, and that one was with the condenser mic.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, track 8 was the one that was with the digital recorder.
Well, then, all right, then fine. Let's all right. I'm glad I'm wrong. Here's number 8, and number 8 again, Brendan, is you saying that's a nasty little bump right there, or something like that, right?
That's it.
And then "Come walk with me."
That's correct.
All right.
That's a nasty little bump right there.
Well, that does prove one thing. Since I replayed number 7, they might learn something was unintelligible, I thought, the first time, and I obviously thought the same thing the second time. Now, what we just heard, number 8, which I'll do again right here, is quite clear and does sound like "Come walk with me."
That's a nasty little bump right there.
That almost sounds like a pushed voice.
What's that?
A kind of, like a pushed voice. What do I mean by that? As though as though somebody's making up a voice. Raising their voice intentionally and "Come on." I can't imitate it. My voice won't go high enough, but you get the idea.
Right. I mean, at that point, there was just me and the owner of the building. We were the only ones there.
Very little additional ambient noise.
What was that?
Very little additional ambient noise in the background, so it was quite clear.
Yes. And we were actually in the basement just walking into one of the rooms there. And, if you go back and listen to a lot of the kids' voices that we've played, I think, to me, they sound a lot like that.
Yeah, the word I used was pushed. Sort of if you were going to make up a voice, kind of like you were trying to make up a voice or something, but very interesting. And this next one, 9, really looks interesting.
Well, this next one, it just came out of the blue. There was no other talking before this came in. And the interesting thing is there was a car driving by, and this voice sounds to me like the same voice that Brennan recorded on the previous one.
However, this one was with the condenser mic.
This one was, with the condenser. And
okay.
It's a child it sounds like a child, and he says either he cut my face or he touched my face, and he repeats that. This one really disturbs me. The child sounds very upset, and this this voice is not looped. It repeats about 6 times.
So what you're going to hear is not a looped thing, which we do for clarity, so you can hear it several times normally, but it's going to be just repeated 6 times?
Yes.
Okay, here you go. Okay, yeah, I hear it. He touched my face 6 times. Now, this is very interesting because certainly it would eliminate the possibility of, for example, RF from a radio station or some other source, and it's clearly a child's voice, isn't it? Listen again, very carefully. It's pretty far in the noise. I'm not positive I'm a fan yet of the condenser. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, here are my comments. Yeah, it does sound like he touched my face. But again, there's an awful lot of noise with that. I heard the car going by. That would be easy to filter out, by the way. That's, it's such a different frequency. You could take that out easily. And then I also heard what seemed to be either just general amplified noise, Brendan, or there was something contributing, almost a hum in there.
Yeah, there was actually. That was recorded in a room that had some kind of soda machine. I think the refrigeration unit had kicked on.
That would do it, and that's the downside of a condenser mic. All right, I'm obligated to do another break, so let's do that very quickly. We'll be right back. Well, all right, Brendan, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that the condenser mic is good. You pick up more, no question about it. But it may be overshadowed right now by the additional noise that comes with the EVPs. If you do some filtering, I think that the condenser may turn out to be a winner. That's what I would say.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think with it being so new, and I mean such a new technology for us as far as, our investigations go.
I understand.
Just taking time to kind of refine it.
No, what you're doing has proven something important, and that is that these are actually audible voices that are being picked up. So from that point of view, it's a major, I guess, revelation. But at the same time, they're really not quite as clear, but you can win this by filtering. I guarantee if you filter it out, the condenser is going to turn out to be a winner. All right, number 10.
All right, now, this one, you're going to hear me say, all right, what I'll do is set this down in here and we'll move it. Actually, before we do this, let's stop this, save the file, and start all over again. I'm just talking about the condenser mic file that we were using. And this, again, was recorded with a digital recorder, not the condenser mic. And you're going to hear the owner say, okay, and then a woman comes in, and to me, I can't understand the first part of what she says, but she ends with what sounds like every lover.
All right, let's see what we get.
All right, what I'll do is set this down in here. We'll move it. Actually, before we do that, stop this, take the file and start all over again. Okay.
That sounds to me like, all right, I'll say the word lover. Now, I have just made a suggestion to you. See what you think.
All right, what I'll do is set this down in here. We'll move it. Actually, before we do that, stop this, take the file and start all over again. Okay.
All right, I'll say the word lover. Listen. What do you think?
I do think it says every lover.
Say it again?
Every lover is what I catch the two last words.
Really? Well, we agree on lover, but not the rest. Brendan?
It's the same thing. I just hear every lover. I really can't make out the first part of that.
All right, again, here we go.
All right, what I'll do is set this down here. We'll move it.
Actually, before we do that, stop this and the comments are over here. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a woman. All right, I'll say the word lover. Listen. That's amazing. I don't know. That's what I hear. Clearly, though, it's a mature, kind of a sexy sounding.
Yeah.
You disagree?
No, I think
No,
it's
huh? Yeah, that's
very provocative sounding.
yeah, provocative sounding. Thank you very much. That was extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. And just wait till you try a filter on this. All right, number 11.
Okay, this one, there's no talking before it. It's just the voice. It sounds like it says, I don't want to come. I don't want to come back.
Really? Okay. A lot of hum. All right. Well, that's pretty buried in hum, Brennan.
Oh, it is, and I've noticed, just like what was it, track 9, I think, the
Right.
Touched My Face.
Right.
Both of those were recorded about the same way. They were just kind of left there, and what's interesting is both of those recorded about the time that refrigeration unit kicked on.
Yeah. I'm telling you, buddy, a good filter will take that right out, and all you'll be left with is the voice. So
The
that's
advantage of that big mic is that you can't carry it around with you.
Yep.
really, it's that big.
Oh, it's
a good size.
fairly good size, and then you add the mixer into it, and having to be connected to a hard drive to record the sound. It's
Right.
not as portable as what we normally use.
My guess is some in the audience will take these recordings and do the filtering work themselves. And what we're going to get at the end of that, it'll be fun to compare that to the old digital method, which, didn't have the amplification, but it did have the clarity. So,
And the portability.
And the portability. So it sounds like you're still a fan of the old way, Barbara. Is that?
Yes, I wish so bad I could find a good tape recorder.
Yes.
I like having that physical tape.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
You're still hanging on to that,
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Well,
my age is showing.
Well, so's mine. But,
But you're more technically advanced than I am.
Well, and I'm a fan of digital. I mean, come on, let's face it. It's not going to get better and quieter, signal to noise-wise, than digital. It's just the addition of the new mic. On the one hand, good. We've proven something. On the other hand, it picks up a lot of external stuff that mixes with it. So, I don't know. If you're doing judgment on, we'll get a lot of feedback from the audience and see if they feel the same way, whether you should go back to digital or simply go to filtering and clean it up that way. So I'm with you guys on the experimentation, but I do think you've proven something very important, that it's actually audible. Do you suppose it's audible only very close to the microphone in question? I mean, so close to the microphone that it's barely there.
That's really the interesting thing, because we record voices that sound like, they're yards and yards away.
Right.
As opposed to our voices being right next to the microphone. So, I mean, it's so hard to tell, but like you mentioned before, it does sound like there's some kind of distance involved with them speaking and
Exactly.
what we hear.
Exactly. All right.
Hello, is anyone here?
Hello, is anyone here? Yeah, that's actually a very good one. A lot of these have been very good, and I am convinced, I really honestly am convinced that when we finally get going here and we get filtering done, this is going to be totally awesome. It's going to be just an amazing thing to behold. So you all make judgments. Send me an email. Send them an email. You understand, because I do, that what we're hearing is real here. It's not a radio station, not somebody's CB. It's not somebody else in the building. It's not something hokied up. It's real. These are voices from either another dimension, the other side. We really don't know, and my guests don't know. We're really not sure. There's no way to be sure yet. But it's real. What you're hearing is real. Make of it what you will. It's the real McCoy. That much I guarantee. We'll be right back. Back we are, and again, worth mentioning, argue as we will about the technical aspects of this, the bigger picture is what you've got to keep in mind, and we sure are hearing something. All right, you two, welcome back, number 12. Let's knock them down.
All right. Now this one, you're going to hear me saying, hello, is anyone here? And then you're going to hear again what sounds like a kid saying, it's cold. It's cold.
Oh, I hate these. Honestly, I do hate these. One thing you don't want it to be on the other side is cold.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, all right, here we go.
Hello, is anyone here?
Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, not good. That may be the worst one I've ever heard.
Really?
I'll tell you why. Because you could hear the plaintive cry of a little child. I mean, there's no other way for me to describe what I just heard. The plaintive...
Like it's suffering.
Yes, thank you. Like it's suffering. That was terrible. Here it is again. See if you all get it the same way. I think it's just, it's very concerning.
Hello, is anyone here?
Oh, jeez. I just noticed something else that I could swear I heard a different intonation in the voice in the second or third
Yes, it's
loops.
like it's stressing it.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
But this is a loop, right? So it's got to be the same. In other words, the first one, I hate to do this, but we're listening to this one again. All right, listen carefully, folks. What I think I heard, and I could be totally wrong, is I think I heard an increased stress or intonation in the voice in the second or third loop recording. Let me see.
Hello, is anyone here?
Wow. I don't know what to say about that, except that scares me.
Very sad, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really sad. And I don't know how you can... I don't know if I can accept, for example, as you said earlier, that it's somebody earlier, projecting earlier in their life or something. That was too much.
Well, on that one, it is hard to say that.
Sure is.
And what happened was we were doing research with the owner of the building.
Yes.
And, we started asking her, hey, we're getting these kids' voices. Is there any reason that you can think of that there would have been children here?
And
she had found out that some of the good old boys that live around there, that had been around for years and years, had said that in the early days of that building, there were rumors of child prostitution downstairs.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
All right, number 13.
All right, you're going to hear...
I can barely hear you, hon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go.
You're going to hear Brendan say, I wonder if there is a plug in here.
Right.
And a voice comes in and it says, my name's Afton or Ashton.
Here we go.
I wonder if there's a plug in here.
Either my name's Afton or Ashton. Again, I guess we're probably using the new mic. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
All right. I hear we're picking up too much background noise, but here it is again. Listen carefully.
I wonder if there's a plug in here.
No question about it. You hear, particularly when you do the loops with the increased gain, you pick up whatever it was in the background running ever so much more, and that really clobbers the voice, but easily changed. Boy, have you got to get some filtering.
Yeah, I am definitely starting to become aware of that.
Okay. Number 14.
All right, now this one, you're going to hear me whistling, and I do this because the mic is stationary, so I'm basically letting the recording know I'm coming up to the mic.
Right.
So you hear me whistling, and then I say, okay. And then the owner of the building says, I don't think you can do it while it's still recording. She wanted me to show her some filtering technique on the program we run.
Uh-huh.
And then I say, well, probably not. And then you're going to hear a woman in the background saying, someone lied to me.
Here we go.
I don't think you can do it while you're still recording it, do you?
Probably not.
Yeah, someone lied to me. That's exactly what it sounds like. Someone lied to me. In a lot of noise, but definitely there. None of these yet seem to be direct responses to anything any of you said. Well, maybe the one with the name. No, not even that one. So none of these are really direct responses yet, right?
Not too much.
Well, I think, some are. You've got me saying, hello, is anyone here? And then the voice saying it's cold.
Yeah.
Which
might or might not be a direct response.
Well, and that's correct. The one earlier of me saying, is anybody here? Tell us your name. And then the voice saying, did you want to talk to me?
Good point. That's about as close as we got so far. Okay. Number 15. I want you all to be able to answer a few questions from the audience, because I know, people listen to this and how could you not have questions? So, number 15.
Okay, you're going to hear Brendan say, that's scary. I wonder what happened over there. And this voice comes in and it sounds like it says, tell Afton or Ashton to give up.
Okay.
That's scary. I wonder what happened over there.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right. And that relates to number 13, right?
Yes, that's correct.
It sure does. Boy. So the same subject, and what are the odds of that? Here we go.
That's scary. I wonder what happened over there.
Yeah, that's really weird. Kind of like you caught two parts of the same thought or conversation.
Well, and just the fact of having a name. I mean, that's the first time in that building that we've actually recorded anyone's name.
Really?
And it's mentioned twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like two parts of a single conversation or thought pattern. All right. Number 16.
All right, now this one is me saying, is anybody here? Hello? And then afterwards, it sounds like a very, very young child, almost so young that he can't pronounce his words correctly.
Yes.
The only word I can truly make out is hello. And then afterwards, it sounds like he's saying, they caught me, why would you do that? But it's definitely hello.
All right, let's try it.
Is anybody here? Hello?
I agree completely. That sounds like a very young child, which is very troubling. In fact, tonight has been chock full, as Barbara said it would be, with children's voices. The last on number two, I'll tell you, I'm not going to be getting over what was it, that young child a little while ago, or maybe even this one for a while is just almost too much.
Is anybody here? Hello?
You know, I'd like to hear from some in the audience, some of you, about what you think we're hearing. These are children. I mean, can there be any question about the fact that these are children's voices, troubling children's voices? So, fire me an email and let me know what you all think. I mean, what does it say about the other side or the other dimension or whatever in the heck we're hearing? Do you guys have favorite thoughts about what realm we're hearing, whether it's another dimension, whether it's simply it just goes caught here, as you've mentioned before, or it's, spirits of people who were, or whether these are perhaps spirits that never were alive? I mean, how can you know?
No, for me, in my mind, I think that these are people that have lived, had a body, and they've passed away. And, they maintain that same personality. They talk the same. I definitely don't think these are demonic or things that have never had a body. And, I know some people have suggested that to us.
Incredibly sad comes to mind after listening tonight. Gosh, some of these voices.
And some are very, and, like Barbara says, I don't think they're very happy. A lot of time, I think that leads them to stay here.
Clearly.
I don't think they'd be here if they were happy.
Clearly, they're not happy. And, I guess in my mind, we adults have had plenty of time to go around sinning and probably get in trouble that might keep us here or, even send us down. Who knows? But, children, of all things, and so many of them, it's so troubling to hear so many children's voices. They should go straight to heaven without passing go.
That's right. That's what I told my husband one night after hearing these. They just, there's so many children. My whole perspective about, there's just something wrong.
Yes, there's something wrong. And I have a feeling there's really something wrong with number 17. Okay, so lay it on me.
Oh, you're going to hear Brendan say, I'm sorry. It says, is your thing recording? And you're going to hear the owner of the building say, not yet. And Brendan says, oh, okay. And then this voice comes in and it says, you're going to die.
You're going to die. Really? Does it really say you're going to die?
Is your thing recording? Yeah.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
You see, this is where I'd be retiring from the EVP business. You're gonna die. Now, when a voice from another dimension or the other side tells you you're gonna die, it is time to retire. Is there any question in your mind about what was said there?
Not to me, no. That's the only thing I hear.
We're all going to die.
And that's not the only voice we've had that says that.
Yeah, I know we're all going to die, but most of us not expecting tomorrow. And the suggestion by this kind of statement, you're going to die, is, hey, soon. Listen again.
Is your thing recording? Yeah.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my God. When you heard that, didn't you give a moment's thought to, maybe I've had enough?
No. And mainly because we've heard it before. Had that been the only time we'd heard it, yeah, maybe. But
well, how was it the first time you heard it?
I think then, yeah, it took us back. It's along the lines of when you hear an EVP that says your name, that is almost the same thing. It shocks you, but then you keep going and you get it again, and it becomes part of the procedure.
Okay, number 18.
All right, now this one, you're going to hear me say, okay, this is our second recording from the building. We are now getting ready to leave. And then you hear, it sounds like a woman's voice saying, it's dead.
It's dead. Here we go.
Okay, this is our second recording from we are now getting ready to leave.
It's dead.
Oh, boy.
It's dead. It's dead.
Second retirement one. This is bad. It's dead. In sort of a, I don't know, there's emotion behind the voice. Listen.
Okay, this is our second recording from we are now getting ready to leave.
It's dead. It's dead. It's dead.
That's really bad. Really bad. I mean, you have had some bad recordings tonight. Good, but bad, if you know what I mean. These are concerning to me, frightening. What other words might I use to describe these? Scary. Scary. Definitely scary. It's dead or you're going to die. That's scary. Come on.
I don't take it personal.
I think the whole thing is we have heard so many that it doesn't affect us. I mean, we take the voice as what it is. It's a voice that says something.
So you've never found it to be precognitive on the part of the spirit?
No. I mean, this, the You're Gonna Die was recorded quite some time ago, and we're still here.
Suppose you were to hear, a bus will hit you tomorrow.
I may not go out of the house. I may. I mean, they've said a lot of, I go back to a voice that we played on your show, I think the last time, that it was a man saying, I will kill you bastards. And
yes, I recall.
That's a direct threat. But did anything happen? No.
Well, not yet. Time is sort of a relative thing over there, right?
Well, and that's true. I even wonder if there is a concept of time.
Right. There may not be any time, so it could be soon, it could be far. Who knows? What I do know is that many of you should have questions based on what you've heard. They don't take money for it. They've got a website. They support it with the jobs they have. This is the real McCoy you're hearing. So if you have questions for Brendan Cook, Barbara Macbeth, this is the half hour to do it. You ready for them?
Anytime.
All right. Let's do it. First-time caller line, you're on the air with the GIS. Hi.
Hi. First of all, I can't believe I got through. I've been listening to you for like 8 years. I love your show.
Thank you.
I have a suggestion. When I grew up, doing something we called sitting in our family, where we actually had real-time conversations with spirits. And it was supposed to be that my grandmother she possessed this energy, as they would refer to it. And they told us in the circle, that's what we called it, the circle, and if you had water present, it helped give them the ability to speak.
That if you what?
Had water, like a bowl. We had something we called a trumpet, which is what they used to pick up to speak through. And it was a metal collapsible, like, cone.
Right.
And they told us to wash it in water and have a bowl of water.
That might make sense.
And it helped the energy. And they also always told us that heaven is not up, it is out. So that could explain why there are just so many spirits everywhere. And when they would open the door, they said children are always allowed to come into the circle. They're not restricted. They always had permission, and that might be why they get so many children.
Any thoughts on why they're sounding so sad?
I don't know, because they always told us that it was the most pleasant, wonderful, situation that they could ever express.
Boy, it sure didn't sound that way in some of them.
It's just, I have actual tapes myself from the circles.
Well, I would very much like to hear what you have. Can you send that an example?
I could.
All right, then do.
It
All right,
sounds like a seance.
I'll be in touch with you. Yeah, it sounds very much like a seance. Her comment about having water present, or say a large bowl or something that might amplify a voice, any credibility to that?
Well, we certainly haven't used it before. I have heard about it, and it really could go towards the fact of, you've heard of using white noise to amplify these voices. And, it could be related to that.
It could be. I mean, Meeks was using a sort of a
tone
soup,
generator.
A soup of tones, right?
Yeah.
That allowed the voices to more easily modulate. And
that's it. And we've never really gone to that point. I guess really because we've got such great results not doing it.
Yeah. All right. Wildcard Line, you're on the air with GIS. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, Art?
Okay, sir.
Hey, I wanted to ask them, have they ever, thought about putting, taking the voices and interpreting them really interesting, to the concept of the information that was gathered about a certain place, like the children voices? That was all in one spot, right?
Yes.
I mean,
that was the same building.
All concepted to the Constitution. And that was my question. And for a comment, the one about love, I kind of heard about the sound. It sounded like that my husband is the best lover, something to that effect.
Now that's interesting that you say that, because the first time I heard it, that's what I thought. I thought I heard something husband lover.
Yeah, that's what kind of caught me with the H consonant and husband, and something like best or is the greatest or something to that effect. It was kind of garbled on that part. But,
hey, caller, what do you think we're hearing here?
Well, really, I'm not really quite sure what it is. I mean, I believe in it and stuff. I believe in the other side. Now, to me, it sounds like, in my perspective, that these voices are being recorded at a level that we can't hear it, but the electronics will hear it.
Yeah.
And it's communication saying, hey, please help me, like an unrested soul. They're like a haunting. Once their soul is rested, you find out who killed them or why they died or something like that. Yeah. And their soul can rest and cross to the other side. Now, kind of a general idea, perspective about it, but that's just my perception on it.
All right. Very good. Thank you. You two, do you ever get voices of people who have, in your opinion, committed suicide?
Yes.
That was a yes. Get close to the
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
He says again, because that many believe that those who commit suicide don't ascend and or meet with the loved ones they wish to meet with on the other side. East of the Rockies. Hi, you're on the air with GIS. Good morning.
Hi, my name is Tracy. I'm calling from New York, and I would like to say congratulations, Art.
Thank you.
And I have one question. Okay, now you said you can do it yourself earlier. Now, do you need a regular tape recorder, or is it like a special type of machine you go buy to just go hear these voices? Or
All right. Good time to make a recommendation, if you would, folks.
Anything that records sound will work.
Okay, so I could just get like a regular tape recorder and put it in like in a room, or
if you do that though, make sure you always use a brand new tape. Never reuse tapes.
Okay, and I agree with the last. I was going to ask another question about the suicide now. Like when people do commit suicide, can y'all get in touch with them, or like, do they say anything? I mean, I was just wondering.
Well, it's going to really depend on that spirit. We have had the occasion to record what we believe was it was a close friend of my husband's and mine who committed suicide, and we went to their house, the house where he committed suicide. His wife and family were having haunting problems after that, and we believe we recorded our friend.
Do you recall what he said?
I don't think you can repeat it on the air.
It.
Oh, really?
He basically called Barbara's husband by a certain name.
Yeah, okay.
It's something you can't say.
All right, fine. That brings up something else. How much of what you get could we not air?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Really?
There was actually a
lot of cussing going on over there.
Well, it's just like in real life. I mean, you walk into a mall and you're going to hear a lot of people just cussing for no reason.
Well, that's a very good point. Just like real life. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with GIS. Good morning.
Hi, West of the Rockies?
Yes.
Oh, hi. I've listened to your recordings with Art for several years, and I really believe in the validity of what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
I think the research is important.
I believe it is, too.
I'm very interested in the idea of the immediate response, what you get back in communication. And I have a question. If when you play these tapes and I'm sitting over here and I hear something different than what you say, can I respond to that on your website? In particular, the clip number 2?
Oh, yeah. You can go to our website, listen to the clips. There is an email address specifically set up for voice interpretations. It's whatIhear@ghostpics.com.
If I could say what I heard on number 2, what I heard I think is an immediate response. The question was, does anyone want to talk to us? And what I hear is, I'm anyone.
Oh, really?
Really?
As opposed to, I'm really warm.
Right. No, I hear the warm as one.
Really?
And I hear I'm anyone.
All
So
right.
I think that's an immediate response.
Yeah, I could. You want to hold on a second?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Let's play this again. And so for the audience, you hear what, ma'am?
I hear I'm anyone. Just like...
Oh, yeah. All right. You know what? I agree. I mean,
I agree, too.
Uh-huh.
So what I think is that some of these things you think aren't immediate responses, I think they are. Because I disagreed with probably only about 3 of what you said, but everyone hears it differently.
That's true.
And what's interesting to note is I'm anyone and I'm really warm have the exact same amount of syllables.
Yeah, they do, but, one is a direct response, one isn't.
That's correct.
Important distinction. Caller, thank you.
Thank you for taking my call.
You're very welcome. International line, you're on the air. Where are you calling from, please?
Hello there. I'm calling from Nuevo León, Mexico.
Mexico. Okay, welcome.
And I think I speak for all of us when I say it's good to have you back, Art. And
thank you.
It's good to have your guests on tonight. It's a really good program. I have an experience with EVPs without a tape recorder. Like you said, they might be audible somewhere away from a tape recorder. Well, I had a ghost speak to me for many years. The past 7 years, I've had a woman that lives in my house. She speaks to me all the time. She's a ghost. I mean, she won't respond to anything I say to her or anything like that, but I can hear her talking.
Huh.
You hear her audibly?
Yes, audibly. It's a soft-spoken voice, but in a certain part of the room that I'm in right now, actually, you can hear her speaking. Every once in a while, she'll just say something. Just like your recordings, they say offhanded things.
And that's been going on. It's been going on how long, sir?
About 7 years.
It takes you by surprise when you hear them, doesn't it?
It used to, but I mean, it now it just really it's just I mean they're not have anything to do with me, so I just ignore them, you know.
You should try to record.
Yeah, you should try to record.
I definitely could.
Well, definitely do.
Right,
if you're hearing it out loud, then you're going to get some really, really, really good EVPs, and you can send them on to Brendan Cook and Barbara Macbeth on their website, ghostpics.com. Funny that you would pick Ghost Pics, you know, in other words, obvious reference to photographs.
No, it was pick out what you want to go to. Pictures, videos, or EVP.
Okay. I might have opted for something a little more directly meaningful, ghostvoices.com or something, probably already taken.
Oh, yeah.
First-time caller line, you're on the air with the EVP folks.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, I was wondering if anybody has ever heard of, like if a little kid has died and they have grown to, like, when they have after they've died.
All right. Well, all right. I see what he's saying.
I couldn't understand.
Yeah, he was asking whether there's any evidence that a little child who has died continues in the afterlife to grow. It's an interesting question.
It is, definitely. And I guess I just don't see how you could find that out. Short of, you know, a child telling you his name and then
growing up
a little bit later hearing the same person saying, well, I'm that person, but, you know, in a much older voice.
It's a tough but interesting question. Thanks. Wildcard line, you're on the air with the GIS folks. Hi. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, you got me. Okay. Tape number 3. You guys don't hear an extra laugh at the end of that tape?
An extra laugh. I don't think we counted them.
The woman laughing. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Kelly Dawson. I'm a truck driver. I'm in California right now. But on the end of tape number 3, where the woman's laugh,
yes,
at the very end, there's a man laughing.
Really?
Really? Number 3. All right. Well, I'll go back and listen to that. I hate to take the time right now. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with the GIS. Hi.
For taking my call.
You're very welcome. Where are you?
This is Kat calling from Morgantown, West Virginia, home of the Mountaineers.
All right.
First of all, Art, I'd like to veer off from the subject for a minute. I was wondering if you were able to watch the miniseries on Sci-Fi, the Triangle.
I did. No, I did not.
You were referred to in that movie.
Was I?
Yes, and it was about an investigative team and the executive assistant being so excited about it. And you're really excited about this. And he said, yes, this is really great stuff, that get me Art Bell on the phone kind of stuff. I must have reran that thing at least 10 times the first night. But no, my question is, I have a answering machine, old-time answering machine in the kitchen.
Oh, yes.
It's plugged into the outlet. It has the phone line plugged in, but not into the phone line outlet. I went from landline to cell phone. I happened to be washing dishes one night, and this red button is flashing as though I have a message. And it's like, well, ooh, and the hair on the back of my neck stands up, and I go ahead and press the button, and there's really nothing there. And I listened to at least 30 minutes of the tape. There's a really small answering machine tapes. Now, I could hear background noises like children, but the gentleman just said a moment ago that it would be better to use a brand new tape.
Of course,
so I'm wondering, could that be just a rollover, or could I put that into another piece of equipment?
Okay, well, it could be. Look, the reason they say use a blank tape is obvious. A lot of times when an erase head hits a tape, it doesn't completely erase what was on it. So you always you have the obvious risk of having something like that, particularly with a telephone answering machine that's probably been recorded over 5 million times.
True. I never thought of that. That's probably an imprint then there. Well, thank you so very much.
You're very welcome. And I didn't mean to answer the question
Oh,
for
no,
you, but
it's well, right. No, I just wanted to know if maybe I could pick it up better, or it's probably been recorded over.
You would have to imagine, because it's been recorded so many times, that it is exactly that. You guys would agree, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Because it can bleed through.
Yeah, it really can. So to be sure of what you're doing, use a blank tape. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with the GIS. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Sophia from Eureka, California.
Hi, Sophia.
Hi. Congratulations, Art.
Thank you.
And I had a theory about the children. From what I know, when a person dies, say it's like a really traumatic death, they are more likely to stay as either ghosts or like earthbound spirits.
Right.
So that maybe when a child dies, it's more of a traumatic thing or more of a shock to the child. It's more likely that a child would stay around in that as an earthbound spirit, whereas an adult who passes away, it's not as much of a shock or a traumatic event.
Well, and that's definitely the case. I mean, children don't seem to have this concept of mortality. I mean, they really, especially if you look at what sounds like the ages of the children that we record, they're young enough that they really wouldn't understand death. I mean, they don't understand that, you go to sleep and you're not going to wake up.
Do you believe that you have to understand you're dead before you move on?
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, I do. I think so. And I think that a big reason that they are still remaining in this in-between place is that they don't realize that they're dead. They're confused.
Well, it's still, I'm sorry. Thank you very much for the call. I'm sorry we're out of show. It's still very troubling to hear the voices of young children, particularly young children in distress. I mean, that one you had was just over the top, guys. Really over the top. Those get to me like no other. Listen, as always, what a pleasure to have you on. Thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting us on.
And, a lot of people have got to be left, scratching their heads going, well, it really does seem like there is something to this. Your website is ghostpix.com. Right? And they can hear these and many, many others and also give you feedback and get in touch with you and all the rest of that and even get recommendations on how to do this for themselves, right?
That's it.
Correct.
Okay, folks, again, it's been an honor to have you on the program. I really buy into all this, and you have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. And if you missed the first hour of the program, folks, you really might want to take a moment out for those stations that repeat and listen very closely to